He came to see me. Dad, slow down on worrying about you because, boom, he knows that I spend time with my amateurs. You know me. Both of y'all know me very well.
Yeah.
Don't I spend time with my amateurs?
Yeah.
All the time. That's my piece.
Gervonta Davis' decision to part ways with Calvin Ford before the controversial Roach fight had people talking. While many believed it was only temporary, it's starting to look like a permanent split, and Kenny Ellis isn't impressed with Gervonta Davis.
Something is definitely going on between Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, we all seen that knock.
Calvin is tattooed on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Calvin is Pops. He ain't going anywhere, Gervonta Davis said just 6 weeks before the Limit Roach fight. But when fight night arrived, Calvin Ford was nowhere to be seen in Gervonta Davis. Instead, Barry Hunter took his place, while Ford watched from a distance. Then came the Gervonta Davis victory.
Calvin is Calvin, you know what I mean? I got Calvin tatted on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for shit.
While many believe this was just a one-time change, news statements from Gervonta Davis otherwise. For years, Gervonta Davis' camp had been rock solid. Ford and Kenny Ellis weren't just his trainers, they were family. It was a bond similar to Mike Tyson and Cuss Gervonta Davis. If you want a more modern example, think Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, or even Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. That was the level of connection between Gervonta Davis, Calvin Ford, and Kenny Ellis.
They never separated, you know?
I guess it's because of Tank's comment, because he was asked if Coach Calvin was in his corner. He said, we'll see.
Right, because it's nobody's business, but, you know, he didn't mean anything by that, you know?
Facts. There you go.
Ford himself tried to downplay the situation when he spoke with Fight Hub Gervonta Davis, making his second PBC Amazon Prime Video PPV appearance, headlining a stacked card at the Barclays Center. Yet, the biggest story leading into the fight wasn't Gervonta Davis' opponent, it was about who wouldn't be in his corner. Ford tried to make it sound simple. I'm still part of it, just from a different perspective, he said. He seemed excited about the fight, Gervonta Davis' hard training, and showing respect for Lamont Roach, recalling their past sparring sessions. He even called it a great opportunity for Roach.
I wouldn't pick it up. Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus just for a little bit, and we'll fix that. But nevertheless, I think that made that fight.
Then Ford said something that made people stop and think we ain't changing anything. But clearly, something had changed. He insisted he had just taken a step back, that the training structure remained the same. But the interviewer wasn't convinced. They weren't trying to imply there had been a falling out, but they had to ask, did this separation actually make the bond stronger? After all, sometimes people step away only to come back even more connected. Ford hesitated for a second before responding. No, he came to see me, dead slow down, and worrying about you because, boom, he knows I spend time with my amateurs. You know me, both of you all know me very well. I spend time with my amateurs all the time. That's my piece. Will explain that while he Gervonta Davis directly, he still felt connected to him. But the real question was, did Gervonta Davis, same Barry Hunter, tried to reassure everyone that nothing was wrong? Calvin will be there. I'll be there. Coach Boogie will be there. Kenny will be there as well, he said in an interview.
He's going to have Calvin in his corner this time. I think he will have Kenny, but he's not going to have Calvin. I think that's probably going to be like an advantage for you since he's going to have somebody new in his corner, if I'm not mistaken.
More than likely.
According to Hunter, this wasn't even the first time changes had happened in Gervonta Davis. He insisted it was normal, had been part of the team for years. Ever since Gervonta Davis amateur. He knew how the internet loved to create drama out of nothing. But as reassuring as Hunter tried to sound, the truth was coming out. Because when Gervonta Davis spoke on the situation, it wasn't what people expected. I understand Calvin has been like family, but right now, I need to focus more than ever on my career. So, I'll be looking at other options with the time I've got remaining. That wasn't just Gervonta Davis about a temporary change. That Gervonta Davis, he was moving on. And suddenly, that old quote, Asterisk Calvin isn't going anywhere didn't mean anything anymore. If there were any doubts before, they're gone now. Gervonta Davis is leaving Calvin Ford.
Fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. I mean, I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the...
Kenny Ellis isn't happy about it. We built this together. You don't just walk away from family like the town. He's not the only one. Gervonta Davis in a circle. People are questioning his decision. Did he really need to leave Ford behind? Is this truly about his career? Or is something else happening behind the scenes? Some believe it's about control. For years, Gervonta Davis, known as one of the most naturally gifted fighters in the sport, a knockout artist with devastating power. But there were always whispers that he wasn't fully in control of his own career, that he was being guided too much.
It's knowing the fighter, but knowing the corner too. He did tell me, he said he probably gonna come out a little harder the next round. They probably told him something. And then I guess when you go back and watch it, they did give him a little like.
Many believed Floyd Mayweather had too much influence over Gervonta Davis. But now, with Floyd out of the picture, is Gervonta Davis prove he can do things his way? Or is there an unspoken tension between him and Ford that no one is addressing? Ford has been Gervonta Davis' very beginning, guiding him from a hungry young fighter in Baltimore to one of boxing's biggest stars. If Gervonta Davis better than he knows himself, it's Calvin Ford. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe Gervonta Davis a fresh start, a new coach, a new approach.
I stepped back in the head biggest game and I haven't been there. It brought back so much memories. When we first started off, and him seeing all us working together, he was happy. And at the end of the day, what it's about.
Gervonta Davis outright, but the message was clear. He had no intention of working with Ford again. Ford, for his part, remained mostly silent, but those close to him said he was deeply hurt. He had dedicated his life. Gervonta Davis believed in him and pushed him to greatness. Even when Mayweather and others tried to Gervonta Davis directions, Ford was the one who kept him grounded. And now, Gervonta Davis walking away. Kenny Ellis, on the other hand, wasn't staying quiet. For years, he had been right there beside Ford, training Gervonta Davis, and being part of the foundation that built him into a star. Watching it all fall apart didn't sit right with him. But for Lemond Roach Jr., this was a different kind of frustration. Stepping into the ring as a heavy underdog, he put on an impressive performance. Gervonta Davis, the limit over 12 hard-fought rounds.
I just hope that he can find peace because he's got a lot of pain.
The scorecards read 115 to 113 and 114 to 114, meaning Roach was just a round away from pulling off a massive upset. What made the result even tougher to swallow was the controversy. In the 9th round, Davis took a knee, yet referee Steve Willis refused to issue a count. The moment sparked outrage, with some of the biggest names in boxing criticizing the decision.
Hopefully you can get the rematch with Lamont next, but everybody looks at you as the face of boxing and as somebody who calls the shots. Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but...
The New York State Athletic Commission reviewed the controversy, but ultimately ruled to uphold the draw.